Right. Huh. Okay, that's really strange. Oh. Anybody else can't hear me? Right. There we go. Right, that should be it now. Right, hi guys. Is that sound back now? Hopefully we will have sound now. Yes. Ah, thank goodness. I'm and breathe. I tell you guys, all those of you with a YouTube channel will be feeling my pain right now. I have spent the last hour trying to get ready for this live stream. I've had problems with my mouse. I've had problems with to get a good enough stream. Oh, right. We are ready to go. Now hopefully you can see the canvas okay. Because it's looking a little bit dark. There we go. Hopefully that's a little bit better. See, that's just going to get in the way. There we go. Is that maybe better? You can see the light a bit, but I think that puts a little bit. Oh, Joe. Joe says you don't sound like Barry. Yes, but Tanya, you don't sound like Barry White. Oh dear. Right. Okay. Hopefully. Oh, that's going to tip. I wonder if there's something that I can shove under there that's. Maybe just leave that as is. Right. Okay, guys. Finally, I'm just having a check of the comments. Everybody's here. Hi, Chrissy. Hi, Angie. Hi, Mona. Who else have I missed? Laura. Hello, Laura. How are you doing? Oh, it was so much easier when it was just one camera. As you can see, I've already got paint out on my palette. That's because I've been working on this. So this is my ATC, and I've been recording that, so obviously that's going to come up very soon. So watch out for that. Hello, Sharon. And I see that my stream has keeps changing, going to red, but hopefully it's not too disruptive for you guys. Just let me know. I'll try and keep an eye out. Right, so today it's lesson 1 of my series that I am in the process of doing. I'm going to do each lesson live, and it's really a lesson on how to get into the mindset, how to practically paint with more painterly, more loosely. Hello, Sharon. Hi there. How are you doing? And there's going to be different lessons in stages to get to the point where we are going to do a very loose portrait, and I'm going to help you guys get to that stage. In particular, Mona, who is also one of the moderators in my chat, she is awesome. She in particular is really keen to paint more painterly and loosely, a little less getting caught up with the details. So this week is going to be the basics. We're going to kind of go through loading your brush, different brushes that can be used, that kind of thing. So I have here next to me my trolley, which is stuck on something. There we go. I have here my different brushes. So I'm going to grab some different ones so that I can show you. This is actually a brand new one. This one is Dala Rowney, or Dala Rowney should I say, because it's a single L, so the A should be pronounced A. So Dala Rowney, it's size 4, it's brand new. In fact, that's irritating because it is only in focus when it's here. I don't have my autofocus on, because when I have my autofocus on, it does the lines. So in order to be able to not have the lines, I have the autofocus off. So nice to see you. I'm so sorry. I miss your lives. My timing is all off, being so busy in the garden. Oh, right, sorry, you're talking to Chrissy. Yes, I was watching the balloon dance reaction as well. That was so funny. That was so funny. Anyway, back to the lesson. I've got my water at the side of me and I've put down my little cloth and lost it. Oh, here we are. I've got my cloth as well. So I've got this. That's to take off the excess water. Now, this is a round brush. This is a cat's tongue. And this is a bright, which is just really a flat brush. And this one here, this one is a filbert. Now the filbert has a slightly rounded tip, whereas the cat's tongue, it comes to more of a point. I wonder if it maybe shows better on this one, because yeah, that one maybe shows a bit better because it's less splayed. What can sometimes happen is that the bristles can start to splay because there's maybe paint has got in at the bottom, and so it starts to, so instead of the bristles being like that, they kind of start to spread, whereas this one hasn't been damaged in that way. I'm quite rough with my brushes, I have to confess, but you've probably seen that anyway. Is that Mona getting into trouble again? Oh dear. So hopefully you guys can see the palette okay. So I'm really just going to sort of show you the kinds of brush strokes that you can get from the different brushes. So I think maybe I will pick up, oh, there's my new, that's my new filbert. Right, which one will I maybe go with the bigger brushes? Probably better with the bigger brushes. So that one can go back. These two can go back. And I have this Jackson's Art. This is a bright, so it's a flat brush basically. So hopefully these ones will kind of show you the sorts of strokes that you can get. Mona saying always fun with new brushes and paint. Yes, absolutely. Right, so I'm going to take my my head's not working today. I'm going to take my cat's tongue and I'm going to make a purple, and I've found that these make a really nice purple. So this is phthalo blue and this is magenta. It's processed magenta and they make a really nice purple. So this kind of cat's tongue, you can get thin straight lines and you can get thicker. Now I've not really mixed up a lot of paint there, so there wasn't really an awful lot on the brush, and you can see where it's skipping. Now you can see with the cat's tongue there's that kind of peak at the top, but at the bottom you have that straight line. So that's the cat's tongue. You can pop it on its side, like so. You can dab it like so. And that gives you those kinds of brush strokes. And I think it's important to play with your brushes and to do different brush strokes to learn how to paint loosely. But you don't have to do it like this. My recommendation is maybe just play a little bit in an art journal. That kind of thing, or even just painting a background. I'm just showing you on this just to give you an idea of what the different brushes actually do, and I hope that this is going to be very helpful if there's any beginners watching. So with your bright, you've got more of a rectangular. You don't have the peak at the top. You can also do those thin straight lines as well. You control your brush. That's the thing. You control the brush. And you can do dabs, whichever way you want to do it. Just like so. Just wash this brush. As I said, you know, for those of you who aren't beginners, my apologies. I'm really going back to basics, going right back to the beginning. I'm encouraging even the ones that do painting but aren't really confident with being able to paint loosely or painterly. I would, this is aimed at you guys as well. So here we have the filbert, which is the round tip. So I'm just going to again grab some paint, and you can get your thin line. It's not really an awful lot of paint. Let me grab some more. So you can do your thin lines and your thick lines. And again, as with the cat's tongue, you're not getting the straight line at the top. You can put it in, but then what's the point, because then that's being pernickety. And you're getting the straighter at the bottom. And again, when you dab, you can see the kind of roundness of the brush at the top. Whoops! I've just dropped my paintbrush. Oh no, paint alert. Right. I see someone's got a question. Let's see if I can get my mouse to work to go and actually I can't scroll back to get the question because I can't get my mouse to work. Oh, there we are. Right. So Sharon, you were told yesterday that painting on mixed media paper or all-purpose paper is not good. It will not give the correct experience. Any input on this? What's the experience you're looking for is the question I'd be asking. If you're looking to just have some fun and just paint, then absolutely no worries. Just do what you want to do. If you're looking for a watercolor experience where the the watercolors are doing things that won't necessarily do with mixed media, then no, you're not going to get the same experience. But if you're doing just some painting, then I don't see any reason why you wouldn't actually use mixed media paper. I mean, at the end of the day, your experience is your experience. And just because somebody says this is the best experience, that doesn't make it true for your experience. Yes, please ourselves. And whilst the only medium that I would say makes a difference with the paper and what you're actually painting on is probably watercolours. But that's not to say that you can't use watercolours on any other paper. It just means that depending on which paper you choose to use will give you a different experience. But if that experience is good for you, if you're using watercolours on mixed media paper and it's good what you want, then I don't see any reason why you can't do that. So hopefully that's made sense. Okay, so we are now doing the round brush. I'm going to grab the paint and show you what a round brush does. Now, a round brush, again, you can get your thin lines. You can even get a reasonably thick line. The harder you press, the wider it's going to be. So depending on what you want to do, you can actually get the brush to do quite a lot of different things. So you can use the end, get dots, just play around with it. So that's essentially what you can do with the different brushes. I tend to use my round brush for a bit more detail. I don't tend to, because it doesn't have a particularly large flat surface area, I'll tend not to use it for, putting in backgrounds. I will tend to go for my larger brushes. So I've got this large brush, this is a larger brush, and sometimes I will go for the even larger brush. It really just depends. So I'll probably go with this one. When you're thinking about your background, because it's acrylic paint, because you're going to paint differently with acrylic paints. Yeah, it's very strange. Are you okay, Angie? Right. Okay, so it looks like you are talking about canvas and what you actually like working on. So Michael Ann, she says she gets too intimidated working on a canvas. It's interesting that, because it's one of those things that we put value, we ourselves put value on things, and when we put value on things, that will differ how we think about things. So if we don't put value on paper, then we will see it as it's okay to let loose and just do things. But I would imagine that Michael Ann, if you were to buy really expensive paper and you knew that it was like mega expensive, you probably wouldn't feel quite the same way. But actually, I think if we put value in what we're doing and then use the canvas and things like that, then that will help to shift the way we think. Does that make sense? Does that resonate? So, backgrounds. When we're painting with acrylics, we can very easily paint in our whole background first and then choose to paint over the top of it, because with acrylics we get layering, and we can paint over the top of it, and that gives us lots of depth, and it means that we're not having to worry about so if we've got, say, if we've got, say, a shape, right? So there's the shape of the head, and if we start, whereas if we actually, let me see if I can get this. So if we've got the colour already there, and then we go in and we put in our shape, then you can see that that is no longer an issue. So there's definitely benefits from putting in the background. And as I said, I certainly have this big bit of paper to do, but there's nothing wrong with actually just doing the background and then painting it on. But if you don't want to do it that way, you don't need to do it that way either. Right, I'm going to shove out some more paint. And I think I might just stick with the colours that I've got on my palette. So I'm going to pop out some more of the phthalo turquoise and the process magenta. When you're covering a larger area, it's always best to mix up enough colour, and you can just slap it on. I mean, you can see there's some straight colour in the brush that hasn't actually been mixed in, that's equally okay. But this is a great exercise for you to mix your colours and see what actually happens. Now you can see that that's like more of a greyed out lilac, whereas if I took the magenta and the blue, you've got a much more vibrant, saturated purple. And you can see that it's just getting the paint down on the paper. I don't care that it looks really, really dark, because then I can potentially just come in with white and lighten it. I might even come in with a bit of a different colour. But ultimately, to think about what your colour palette is going to be before you start. And sometimes it's really just a case of playing. Really depends. So you see it's okay just to slap it on. And the thing is, with this kind of exercise, you don't have to think too hard about anything in particular. You can put on some straight colour. Now that's really quite vibrant, but that's okay. Because remember, today we're not actually making anything, we're not actually doing anything. We're playing with the paint. We're looking to see what does what. Now, I've got some cadmium orange here, so I'm curious as to how this is going to mix in. And that's just really giving it a bit of a pop. Going to grab some more white. Now the white I'm using today is actually from Jackson's Art. It's Jackson's own artist acrylic colour. It's soft bodied, and I'm just checking to see how well it fares today, because I don't know if it's maybe a cheaper alternative to golden, although I do love my golden. So I'm just checking, just testing it out. So there's some pink. I'll just add that in. I'm just going to keep going on with this. It does look a bit dark, but I think that's because it looks quite dark on the actual camera itself. But it's actually not that dark, to be honest. Might just add some pure blue. The blue is ultramarine. And note where I'm holding the brush. It is hard to get the true colours on camera. Yes, it is. But it's also very dark, as in there's not a lot of light, and my camera's not picking it up. I do have another light on at the back of me, but it's in shadow here, so you can see even my hands in shadow. So let me see. It's very grey toned. And this is the perfect excuse to actually look at how well paint does indeed mix. Anyway, that's getting there. This is a fantastic exercise to do in art journal pages. It really is. You don't need to do it on a big bit of paper. I probably should have just brought out my art journal. That probably would have just done the trick. Think about how you're doing the brush strokes. This one seems to be that I'm doing up and down a lot. So let's mix up. Let's mix up the brush strokes a little bit. So you can diagonal them. Because we've got lots of horizontal, let's change brushes. Let's see what changing brushes will do. Let's have a look. So I've got this so I can now start thinking about different shapes using the brush. Mona says, I think it looks like an awesome abstract painting. Thank you, Mona. It certainly is the start of one. Because if you can that kind of thing, then there's no reason why it can't end up looking like a masterpiece. The idea behind this, as I've said, helps you with your mixing of your colours, helps you recognise which colours make mud. Sometimes you want to have a greyed out colour, other times you don't want to, you want to have it more vibrant. And by doing this kind of exercise, that is helping you to be more confident with your colour mixing abilities, to know which colours are going to mix on the paper, to know what your brush strokes are going to look like, to know what kind of shapes you can get, to know all sorts of things like that. And that is why it's important to do things like this. And it's really only taking me so long because I've got such a big bit of paper. I probably should have actually not done it as big. I probably should have sectioned it off. I'm just popping out some, oops, sorry, I've just knocked the camera there. Just popping out some light green. I thought this might give us a different look altogether. So, any questions? Well, my challenge to you guys is I would like to see you painting something abstract like this and pop it in the brain stopped working again. Pop it in the Creative Tartanite Tribe. That's my challenge. This is week 1. So your homework is to do an abstract and make sure that you've got different colours. Make sure that you've got different brush strokes. Make sure that you incorporate everything that we've been talking about today. I'm not going to force you, but that's my challenge. I hope to start seeing abstract paintings in the group. How many of you guys are in the group? Okay. Whoops. Don't know why I did that. Because I can still see now this particular brush is good for doing this. Now this kind of stroke is really good for doing like waves and things. So if I was to turn it that way, so just shuffling it along the side, really good for getting those ripples in the water. So that's a really good effect, really helpful effect. I do seem to still have the paper shining through, but that's okay. So let's just change brushes again. So I've done my, I've done a bright, I've done a cat's tongue. So let's do a round. Let's see what mischief I can get up to with a round. So I'm going to go back to using my round. Mona says, I will see if I can get this done in the weekend. Tomorrow it will be with two of my younger sisters though. They asked me to teach them about watercolours. It will be fun. Oh, that sounds absolutely fantastic. That sounds so much fun. Right. I'm just seeing what my brush strokes can do. Just changing the angle of the brush. If there's anything I don't like, I can always remove it. Now, there we go. Not sure I like that. Not sure I like that either. But I think it's more to do with the colour than the actual the actual brush strokes. So there we go. See, it's much lighter than it actually looks. Right, Mona's saying I actually missed that. I was in the middle of reading it and it just... Right. What's the most thing you guys struggle with? Abstract animals, etc. That's an interesting question, Chrissy. Mona's not actually painted animals. She struggles with clouds. Well, clouds is going to be something that I'm going to be tackling in another video. So that should be fun. So I'm going to be tackling clouds. There we go. Oh, my clan's moving. Oh, good luck with your move, my clan. Ah, packing. Yeah, that's not a fun activity, really, is it? Madonna saying, knowing when to stop, Chrissy. If I keep going, it turns into a detailed painting, which defeats the purpose. Ah, yes, that's the thing. It is knowing when to stop. You're absolutely right. And maybe that's something that you can practice. Is stopping, even if you really don't think that it is actually finished, that you really should be stopping. Practice stopping anyway. Because even if you go back to it the next day, just practice stopping. Right. So that's that. I wonder what other kinds of things I can get from this. So that's given us some pretty fun. If you do it up that way, or you can do it down that way. There we go. So you're starting to see all the different shapes and what you can actually get with your brushes. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your dad, Michael Ann. Right, what looks silly? What looks silly? I'm missing out in the conversation. Chrissy says, you do clouds, Tanya, I'll do water and mountains. Have one planned. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. I saw the was that the folk art one? That looked pretty cool, Chrissy. So Mona's saying that she finds it hard with the shape. Is that the clouds? Yeah, we will be doing clouds. Because doing clouds is quite difficult for a lot of people, and I want to help people to really get to grips with what exactly their brushes can and can't do with the different paints. And how we can go about actually getting, so like dry brushing techniques, that kind of thing. Scumbling. Sometimes it's because our faces are too up here with our paintings and we really need to be back here. Because what I want you to do is, when you're painting like this, I don't want you to be up here. I want you to be back here, so that you can actually see what's going on. Right, I think, folks, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to use the webcam, this one here, to let you see the closer up of the painting. So let me just grab this. Oops. There we go. Right. Okay. Are you ready? Bum bum bum. So you can see the difference with the being closer to the light. Now, can you see the different types of strokes? This squarer stroke underneath the pink, the pink squarer stroke, that was the flat brush. The little detail part, that was the round brush. The blocking in was just whichever bigger brush I had. These smaller dots, these were the round this here was the flat brush, the bright. This was the bright. Again, these green ones, these were the flat brush. So you can get some really good square shapes with the brushes. And all today was a practice of the different brushes. These lines here, this was the round brush. And I wasn't even going to choose these colours. These colours were on the palette already. So I just decided to go with them. So there you can see that's given you the tour of the painting. And that shows you the actual full painting and what it actually looks like with some light on it. Now, compositionally, you will find that there's in thirds. So there's an area where the thirds cross. There's an area where the thirds cross. So in terms of composition, the rule of thirds will actually apply to this. Chrissy says, my tea ready, Muttley cooked a casserole, hugs everyone. Oh, well, thank you very much for coming anyway, Chrissy. Enjoy your tea. I hope you enjoy it. So, I hope this has been useful. Let me just pop this back. There we go. I hope this has been useful. It really, because it's part one, it's been shorter than my usual videos, my usual lives, but that's probably a good thing, because it is actually my tea time as well. So I will be going to go and make my tea. Is there any other questions that you would like to ask before I go? Let me just check up. Sharon says this was a perfect exercise. Thank you, Tanya, much appreciated. You're very welcome. You are most welcome indeed. Mona's dinner time too. Need to cook it. Yeah, I need to cook mine too. So hopefully, what will you do on the next live? The next live, we're going to be, I haven't 100% decided what exactly which one I'm going to. So I'm thinking probably the clouds first, and then the following week we'll be looking at 3D shapes. So this is a very flat painting, it's a very flat image, so probably the clouds next week, and then the week after that will be 3D shapes. So it will be showing how to, using shadows and loose brush strokes, get a shape to look like it's actually 3D and not just flat. So Michael says it looks fun and relaxing. Thank you, it's my breakfast time. Sharon says, as my day is just beginning, love the worldly community. Yep, absolutely perfect. Madonna says, yes, very good. Tanya, thanks so much. You are very welcome. Awesome, can't wait for the clouds. Mona says, same here. So yeah, let's go with the clouds next week. We will look at how to go about doing clouds. I think that's it, folks. I don't really have anything else to say with regards to this painting. So thank you so very much, and let's put some positive vibes out into the universe and ask them for it to not be so complicated next week when I actually go live, and I can go live on time. So remember, look after your mental well-being, because nobody else can. Take care. Have a great day, everybody. Let me see if I can get mouse to work. Bye.